Last week, you may have been worried, as even some people from home that I grew up with were texting me if I had any idea about what this mysterious meeting, this gathering of generals at the Pentagon was all about. You may have been concerned that we were going to war. Secretary of War, as we're now calling it. I think, Ryan, that moniker is more accurate anyway. Left news consumers and military leaders fairly uncomfortable after he abruptly announced that they were planning this massive meeting of generals from around the world, flew everybody in here to DC, where we headed into war. Was it this grand PR exercise? You guessed it. We talked about on last Friday's show what it could be. I speculated if it was war, maybe it was in our own hemisphere. We'll get to that in just a moment, actually, towards the end of the show, what we could be seeing in our own hemisphere. But it was...
My source at the time, remember, he said, this is just a giant Trump.
He was like, yeah,
stupid exercise.
He nailed it.
He did nail it. And my life is filled with regrets, of course, but one of them is that I had multiple sources over the last 7 months telling me, Hegseth keeps saying he wants to change this to the Department of War.
Oh my gosh, you ignored it.
And I was like, that's too stupid to report. I'm not saying I don't believe you, but make me look like a moron.
Cares? Yeah.
Right? Float that. He's talking about that. No, turn he actually did it.
He did it. He did it.
Anyway.
So War Secretary Pete Hegseth, you're going to want to see some of these clips, because what Hegseth did basically was gather everyone for a pep talk that doubled as him making different points about like DEI stuff and also rules of war. We're going to get into that in just a moment as well. And also a photo op for the military to, sort of like the parade that happened in the summer, look on the global stage and nationally like it's putting its best foot forward, which I won't deny is, I actually think that's important. But this was something else. Let's go ahead and roll our first clip here.
Very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result. So be it. This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. So you have to address the small stuff. This is on duty, in the field, and in the rear. If you want a beard, you can join special forces. If not, then shave. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans, but unfortunately we have had leaders who either refuse to call BS and enforce standards, or leaders who felt like they were not allowed to enforce standards. Both are unacceptable. And that's why today at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over. No more beardos. It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. Every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year.
I mean, he also said, Ryan, more seriously, quote, "We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't want to fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement." Hegseth has been a supporter of people who have been accused of violating laws related to war crimes.
He was a big advocate for Eddie Gallagher.
Right, not accused. He was openly an advocate of Eddie
war
Gallagher.
Criminal, like convicted war criminal, who all of his comrades called a complete sociopath, who stabbing and shooting people, like innocent civilians. And so, like, if your bar is Eddie Gallagher, then you are lifting and removing what so many people take pride in when it comes to the U.S. military, which is this idea that you actually do protect civilian lives.
What did you think of this line?
And that's what separates the U.S. military. No, I obviously have my criticism of the U.S. military, but like that is a sacred belief that people have, and he's saying, forget that.
So he
Just
said,
spray away.
quote, "The new compass heading is clear. Out with the Chiarellis, the Mackenzies, and the Millies, and in with the Stockdales, the Schwarzkopfs, and the Pattons." Did you catch that line?
Yeah, and Patton, famously got in trouble for slapping a private, I think in Italy, right, in the during that campaign. He's. I was when he was talking, I was like, wait a minute, is he coming after the special forces here? Because the guys with the tattoos and the beards are in the special forces, and then he carves them out.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here?
Well, he says you can go to the special forces if you want your beard. So Donald Trump also joined the gathering as well. Let's go ahead and roll B2.
We should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. Because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor, stupid. I thought it would be met with fury on the left, but they're sort of giving up, I must be honest with you. They've had it. They've had it with Trump. I really thought that we were going to have to sort of fight it through. There's been no fight. There's been no fight. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. And I'm not a fan of some of the ships you do. I'm a very aesthetic person, and I don't like some of the ships you're doing aesthetically. They say, oh, it's stealth. I said, that's not stealth. An ugly ship is not necessary in order to say you're stealth.
What you're missing is Ryan losing
This guy, unbelievable.
Take a look at this picture. Let's put this element up on the screen. This is B3. Doug Mills of the New York Times snapped a picture of military leaders after Trump's speech, looking ashen, stone-faced. Any other descriptions come to mind, Ryan?
Questioning their life choices.
Nonplussed.
Yes.
It was, at least we're not going to war. That's one way to put it.
It was not a war meeting.
It was not. We probably are still going to war.
Right.
But we didn't announce some type of major World War III operation yesterday. So that's the silver lining, I guess.
But yeah, Trump talking about we're going to make major American cities training grounds for the American military. That's just an incredible place for us to be as a country. If you said that was what Trump was planning to do, a year ago, you would be accused of inciting violence against Republicans for blaspheming their good patriotic name. And here he is. No, that's actually what we're going to do.
Let's put B4 up on the screen. This is about a report in the Daily Mail. This is the Daily Beast covering the Daily Mail. And the Daily Mail report is suggesting that Pete Hegseth, according to leaks, has been especially paranoid after Charlie Kirk's death, which is completely understandable, I think, but that he and his wife are at least seeming to be sort of even deeper entrenched mentality. And it's a tabloid story, I think, worth keeping in mind. We've seen the rebranding as Department of War, which I think happened actually right before Charlie Kirk died, maybe the day that Charlie Kirk died, if not a couple of days before. But also this new this high-profile meeting and tensions in Venezuela are heating up. So the leaks aren't good either. The leaks are going to fuel that sense of paranoia. If this makes it into the Daily Mail in a meta sense, that's going to make the Secretary of War, Ryan, even more paranoid.
Yeah, and Pentagon insiders tell of explosive tantrums and erratic behavior, quote, crawling out of his skin. What the Daily Mail, and people were saying it sounds like he's on the sauce again. That's not how I read it. I read it as this is a dry drunk, who is going through basically untreated withdrawal. If you are a serious alcoholic and you just go cold turkey, this type of crawling out of your skin behavior can be a thing. Somebody was saying that he was seen drinking a Bud Light at a football game or something, but I don't know, maybe that doesn't even count.
I don't know. I mean, I think honestly, like, put all of everything that's been reported about Pete Hegseth, which I'm pretty skeptical. I've met Pete Hegseth a couple of times. I don't necessarily think that he has a drinking problem right now, but put all of that aside, because I'm sure there are people who have different stories or whatever, but I mean, I guess a lot of them were from the past. Either way, all this to say, what happened to Charlie Kirk, we covered it at the time. The ramifications, we're not even talking about a Charlie Kirk related story here, but the ramifications on the right are going to be significant in ways that aren't always obvious. And some of that might be just stoking intense paranoia about personal security in ways that can push people in dangerous directions, I think, Ryan. I mean, because when you're paranoid, a lot of paranoia becomes irrational. It can start in a rational place. I think it's rational for public figures right now to be paranoid after the cold-blooded assassination of somebody. So yes, but that can have consequences just on a personal psychological level. So I don't know if that's what's going on, but this meeting, I guess I'm just grateful, was not some major war announcement, and that's a low bar, perhaps.
And we'll get to that later in the show.
Yes, that might not be announced. It might just happen. It sure as hell won't be voted on.
No, it won't.
If you thought that Congress needed to take us to war,
no.
Boy, you've been proven wrong.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.